Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Anime, where we like to talk about anime and manga. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Taicho, aka Zane Reed. Welcome. As always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Mr. Susu Day. How are you, good sir?
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter indeed.
It is the egg day.
The Choco Egg Day.
Choco egg day indeed. My daughter already had a whole Easter egg for her breakfast.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about yourself? You got many to
I
dodge?
have a single Easter egg. And I'm glad for it because I have no self-control and I am trying to make healthier choices.
Listen to us. I've done the exact same thing. I've asked for no Easter eggs this year, and I've opted to have some scones for breakfast.
That's very so much self-control you're displaying there. You're an absolute paragon of restraints.
Exactly, because in previous years I've had half an egg filled with Cocoa Pops and chocolate milk, like a milkshake.
Yes, the Easter of 2021, I believe.
Yes, and probably like the 2 and 3 years prior to that. But as you say, we're making healthier choices this year.
Not as young as we used to be. Can't bounce back in the same way.
Yeah, exactly that. We've got to think about all these calories and sugary inputs. But enough about us being old guns. We're here to talk about a time before some of our listener base, probably.
You can say.
The 90s was full of great anime, and if you've never seen some of these, maybe you've heard of them and never watched them, we're here to give you some advice and recommendations of ones that you should definitely check out. But before all of that, do you want some anime news?
Please.
Please. Cool. What we'll do is we'll do some Oi Josuke, aka our anime news segment, and then we'll jump into some top 90s anime. Let's do this. Yo, Josuke! Gakko ikoze! There you go.
Doesn't get old.
Doesn't get old, does it? This is a little bit old now, but I don't think we spoke about it last time we did the podcast, where it was announced that Attack on Titan, the final season, will be getting a part 3.
A final season.
But this will be in 2023, so it won't even be this year. It will be next year. How do you feel about this?
I'm indifferent because I don't watch it. However, I do have this image of the bigwigs sitting up in their corporate high tower, being all like, "This is bringing us in a lot of cash. How can we make as much money as possible off this before it ends?" Because they know it's not like an anime where it's like it might be ending like the manga.
Yeah,
it's concluded in the manga. So it kind of feels to me like they're milking it for everything that they can get until they can't get any more,
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I don't, me personally, I think give them time. I'm always a fan of time in the sense that they're going to need time to animate these things. I know there was a rumor going around that maybe it would be put together to be a movie, which I think would have been fantastic. But either way, if they need more time, they need more time to get it right. So
I think that the reason that there are people who are annoyed by this announcement and probably by the ending of this current season is probably that this current season, I believe, was framed as it was the final season. When someone says the final season, you don't expect to get part way through and then go, "Oh yeah, by the way, the final season will conclude next year."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's a bit of a kick, because especially when people were waiting so anxiously for this season. So
Yeah, and to see it animated as well. Yeah, it's hey ho. We'll just have to hold on a little bit tighter to see how things conclude for Attack on Titan. In other anime news, did you get around to seeing the Demon Slayer teaser trailer for season 3?
absolutely looking
Yeah,
great, looking
the
lovely.
Swordsmith arc.
Hoping it's going to be nice and clean like the previous season. Keep it down to like maybe 12, 13 episodes. You
Yeah,
know, just keep it nice and short. Don't overextend it. You know, like that. I think that's why I was a fan of the Demon Slayer manga. Is that everything that happens in it is
yeah,
intentional. There's no like filler. It is literally they're telling this story and they don't like kind of tiptoe around getting to the end. It ended.
yeah.
It had a really nice cadence.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. It's I'm really excited to see where they go. As someone who hasn't really read the manga, I've really enjoyed the anime and yeah, I'm really eager to meet these new characters. I kind of hope it's not there isn't a template in the sense of introducing a new captain and then the new captain retires by the end of the arc. Like I hope that's not a running thing.
I don't think that that is the. I don't think that that is generally a trope that is continued. I know that obviously. I think that what the story demonstrates very well is that humanity is up against kind of impossible odds. Like
Yeah.
the force that they're facing isn't like it's not like in Dragon Ball Z where every single time like the party scales to
Yeah.
meet the new baddie and eventually and like everyone gets out. I think it's really trying to stress that like the demons are like they are that dangerous, like even like the most powerful
Yeah, yeah.
the demons that slayers can offer are like ragdolls before them. Like look at
Yeah.
what happened to Rangoku. It's stuff like that. It's like he was like arguably the strongest among them,
Yeah.
and he still fell at the hands of one of the upper demons.
That's very true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like you said, it kind of gives the idea that no one's safe, regardless of
Mhm.
stature and stuff.
And I also
Um,
think that part of the story of Demon Slayer is about the new generation.
mhm.
It's
Yeah,
about the new generation like conquering challenges and will they, won't they be the next Hashira if like these Hashira, if the previous Hashira fall and stuff like that, It's like, and you
yeah,
can see
yeah,
like they've all had like the like main trio have had like such huge amounts of growth,
yeah,
like since they were introduced. It's kind of like I think that that's the story that they're trying to tell is like these new guys, like these kids, they're the ones who are gonna win this war. That's the story that I think they're trying to tell.
yeah. No, I agree with you. That, and it's not a bad thing. I kind of
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like the passing of the torch sort of thing. So yeah, that's cool. The last thing before we move on to big bad things, we got to talk about Spy Family. The anime has debuted. As the recording of this podcast, episode 2 has recently dropped. I don't know if you've seen, but people are rating this highly on my on my anime list to the point where there could be the chance that it'll take Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood off the top spot.
People are
Um,
really talking very highly of it. They're moving around their whole personal top tens to
yeah,
accommodate Spy X Family, and I think that's lovely because I think that the story itself and the whole premise is very different to anything that's been done. It's
yeah,
like it's like this very wholesome story while at the same time having all these different like these action elements and these like espionage elements and stuff. Is that a nice? You got like a little espresso there.
yes, yes. Sorry, yeah, yeah, nice little espresso to start the day. You know how it is.
You're a classy man. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's great. It's looking great. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. But as probably most people would expect, I've read the manga to some degree, so I know
yeah,
what's up. Um, But you got everyone thirsting over their parents. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty spectacular what's going on social media right now.
It is, yeah. It's I'm enjoying it. I've already liked the dad character. Anya is obviously the comedy relief in it, but they do some really cool things like her mind reading. They put like a real nice sound effect in and give this sort of like twinkly sort of glitter effect when it's happening. I kind of
Yeah.
like the way they've animated that. But
I think that's what.
yeah.
So I think that's generally. I think that she is what makes the show, like,
Yeah.
because like you've obviously got these two pivotal characters in the family who are both leading double lives, which are both
Yes.
hidden from one another, and they believe are hidden from her as well.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't know that she's also got a secret, which
Mhm.
reveals everyone else's secrets. So she knows exactly what's up.
Yeah.
And I think so I think that she plays like kind of the role of like she's our like viewpoint of
Yes.
the family. Like she plays like she is us in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's always the sort of will they, won't they, spill the beans sort of thing, isn't it? That kind of
Yeah.
keeps you intrigued. So, yeah, it's really cool. Should we get into some 90s anime?
You know what? I was having such a pleasant conversation. I had completely forgotten what we were talking about today. So
Okay, so we're gonna give our top recommendations, I guess, of 90s anime. Some of
yeah,
these, again, may sound obvious, like let's get one of the big ones out of the way, Cowboy Bebop.
yeah,
Um, one of the most aesthetically pleasing looking animes out there, even to date. Um, Mini series, but still definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it already. Forget the live action adaptation, but Cowboy Bebop is definitely a
yeah.
high recommendation.
Absolutely, and I think we've obviously talked about Bebop on the show before. I think that
Hmm.
what the appeal of it is that it's set in this like kind of sci-fi setting, which is our own solar system. And I
Yeah,
don't think that there's much talk of anything that goes on beyond our solar system in it. But I think that
no,
in the same way that obviously sci-fi nuts have got like big opinion about Star Trek and Star Wars and which is better. But I know that the
hmm
one consistent thing that comes up about Star Wars is that the universe feels so lived in. Like it
yeah,
feels like a realistic like interpretation of what that setting would be because the people who every planet feels like it's been there for thousands of years
yeah.
stuff. And I think that's the same for like Cowboy Bebop. The system that it's set in, everything that's happening, it feels like exactly how it would be. It feels lived in. It feels like it's not too out there in terms of sci-fi. It's like everything still
Yeah,
feels very industrial and like cobbled together in a lot of ways.
absolutely. Yeah, it's at the time, like you said, Star Wars, Star Trek, maybe even Doctor Who to an extent. There was quite a nice sort of clean cut look with sci-fi, space
Yeah,
sci-fi to a
like the
degree.
future
Where,
is like ascended, isn't it? It's like it's
yeah,
better than now.
yeah, where Cowboy Bebop is very much like it feels like some things are held together with duct tape still,
Yeah,
like patched together, and they often talk about repairs to the ship and stuff. Um, so yeah, it is very much feels like a
yeah.
realistic take to opposed to this super futuristic, high
Yeah.
clean, nice looking.
All of humanity's like problems are solved in like usual sci-fi, whereas in Cowboy
Yeah,
Bebop, it's
yeah,
kind of like this is an accurate portrayal of that we would even with like more advanced technology and the ability to travel the stars, we would still be making the same like as a race would still be making the same stupid like decision.
mistakes.
Capitalism would still
Yeah,
be like the primary driver behind everything, and people are just bad in
yeah.
nature. Like people will do things for money and people are just trying to survive by making money.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Um,
So,
so yeah, I great series. Great dub version of what as well, of course. So yeah, highly recommend. Do you have one to share?
I do. I mean, I
Yeah.
would be remiss to not to not mention Mobile Suit Gundam in this list.
Okay, so I had Gundam Wing on my list, but yeah, go for it.
I mean, Gundam Wing was my entry point into it, but
Yeah.
I figured but Gundam is like it's more than just Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
But I used to rush to whenever I could watch it on Toonami and
Hmm.
those channels. Like it is. If you had asked me what anime was like when I was younger, I would have thought I would have been like, it's Gundam. Like it is
Yeah.
giant robots fighting with swords in space,
Yeah.
and everyone like we all had like our favorite like Gundam like pilot, and now
Hmm.
like mine was I can't remember his name for the life of me now, but it was the Gundam which had the scythe.
Okay. Yeah. I know which one you mean. It was a
Yeah.
dark, like a black Gundam, wasn't it?
Yeah, black themed Gundam. He wasn't a bad guy. That's the
No.
but he had like this like really edgy like killer like Gundam, and I was all about that. I loved it. And Gundam on the other Gundam is actually I feel like in the same sort of position as Bebop in the maybe the setting doesn't feel quite as lived in as
Hmm.
in Cowboy Bebop, but I feel like it's a great way of it's a great story that shows that even with all this advanced technology, humans are still like kind of flawed, and we're still going to go to war, and we're still going to
Yeah.
like do all the same dumb stuff we've done since humans crawled out of the muck.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think from my experience with at the time, especially Gundam Wing, I loved the action, um, but I didn't quite understand what was going on because, like all Gundams, they're very politically driven,
Yeah.
and it's all like you say, a war between race, like humans, like colonies, and things of that nature. So a lot of it kind of went over my head when I was watching this as a kid, but I love the action. Like even to this day, especially with Gundam Wing, I still remember the reveals of the Gundams. So, like you said, the black one, I remember him coming out of the sea and slicing like a hanger, like those like boats
Yeah,
that
like
have.
a aircraft carrier, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and slicing it in half and landing on one, and at the same time, like another Gundam appeared like somewhere else in the world, um, which I thought was amazing. And who can forget Hero tearing up the birthday invitation in front of the girl's face? I can't remember her name, but
It's
that
been so
meme.
long since I've actually partaken in any Gundam, but I've got such fond memories of it from when I was a kid. Because like you said,
Mm,
it was so political, and it like for someone like in the 90s, like I would have been up to 12 by the end of the
yeah,
90s, both of us,
yeah,
and like it's like you don't really care about it because you're just like, I don't really understand what's going on, but robots are like giant robots are inherently cool, and they have lightsabers.
yeah, yeah. Piloted by kids
Yeah,
who are like our age. Like, what's there not to sign up for?
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was fantastic. And I guess there was this kind of wave of giant robots because, of course, we get Neon Genesis in the mix as well. Another sort of fantastic mini series with a lot of depth to it. Again, it's not something I'm going to go too much in detail here because we've mentioned it before in the past. But yeah, a fantastic series. Again, something that everyone should check out if they haven't already.
what's next, my G?
What's next? I'm just going through my list to have a look. It's kind of weird because, you know, even things that are around today started in the 90s. So, for example, Dragon Ball Z and One Piece started in the 90s. Um, you know, obviously the sort of foundations of the modern day sort of shonen genre. So, where would we be now without Dragon Ball Z coming out in the 90s?
Paving the way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. just got a wave here in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
What?
Another sort of big fan favorite, Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't really remember much of this when I was. I don't know if it came here to England. To be fair, did you?
I think
Do you have
it
any
did, but it was more.
familiarity with it?
I think it was more niche. It was.
Yeah.
It was an. I think if you watched it, it would be like. It would be on like a VCR. It would be on a VCR. You wouldn't. It wasn't something that was like on Toonami. It wasn't like. So I think So I suppose to some degree, like you're saying, it didn't come to the UK like in the same way that it might have gotten done elsewhere. Because I don't have any real memory of it at all. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, same. But it's again supposed to be one of the sort of forefathers in terms of the sort of what we now know as battle shonen. So I say it's definitely worth checking out, and I myself will check this out at the next availability because spring anime is with us and it is hot right now.
Let's get on it.
How about you? You got any big ones?
I'm just going through all of my comfort favorites. So these are all like the basic stuff. But let's talk about Digimon.
Okay, yeah. Digimon. What a weird time that came out as well. Considering we had, dare I say, Pokemon released in the 90s as well.
So that's the age-old debate: is which is the rip-off of which. I'm pretty certain that Digimon outdates Pokemon.
Do you think?
I'm gonna
fact check this right now.
Check myself just now, but I'm absolutely certain that Digimon outdates. But in fact, I should be searching for Pocket Monsters. 1996. That is not Digimon. You keep talking. Talk about Digimon.
Okay. So Digimon, I think we theorized this before, but possibly the first sort of isekai in existence. The
Digimon came after by a year.
Whole year.
Yeah, 1996 and 1997 is where they were both released. We might as well talk about Pokemon here while we're at it, because you mentioned it.
Yeah, sure. I was just saying, like, with Digimon, obviously, like, probably the very first isekai group of children transported to a digital world. Here's what's interesting about the difference in the monsters as well, is that they can communicate, like, they can communicate in full... yeah, in full language, compared to their Pokemon counterparts.
I think that Digimon to me was just so much more outlandish. It's like you see memes about it all the time. You have Charmander. He starts as a tiny little lizard with a fire on his tail, turns into a bigger lizard with a fire on his tail, turns into an even bigger lizard when he evolves. Digimon, you have a cat that turns into a cat with guns on his hands, that turns into like a dragon, that turns into like a washing machine with a rabbit head or something like that. Like
with jeans.
With jeans, yeah. It's like, it's so ridiculous that it's just good. And based on like how it's obviously set in like the digital world. And like, you know, we've seen the stuff that's on the internet. As adults, we've seen what's out there. So is it really so outlandish to have like a cat turn into a like scantily dressed angel?
That's very true. I guess what I really liked it as a kid was the connection with computers and mobile phones and stuff at the time as well, which I thought was really cool. But more than anything, I felt like there was a real friendship with your Digimon. It wasn't like you had a series of Digimon to be friends with. You had one Digimon who was just your best friend.
Yeah, you had your Digimon. You had your guy, and you were invested in that one Digimon.
Exactly. Where with Pokemon was still fantastic. Like it captured a whole generation, obviously with the video game launch as well, and Pokemon cards and everything else. But um, with Pokemon, I think it was a wider story in terms of um, there's different moving parts, as in like not only is it Red or Ash's journey, but you had the whole sort of taking down an organization like Team Rocket. So I guess it's kind of like almost like it, I guess what I'm trying to say in so many ways, it's kind of like Final Fantasy VII. It's the against the corporate machine or a organization.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon is like kind of about. I say that they're both about the journey, but I
Yeah.
say that the work. I think the worlds are what kind of sets them apart. In the like you said, like it's like Pokemon world is like very well established. It's like just
Mm.
people just live alongside Pokemon. That's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
you leave your home when you're like 10 years old and to go on a journey to like,
Prove
battle the
yourself as
gyms
well,
and
isn't it?
become a Pokemon master.
Mm.
Whereas Digimon is about is the old trope of like good versus evil
Yeah.
in like this completely unknown world.
Yeah.
So I
And
think that's
saving
what
the
sets
world
them
as
apart.
well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and that's what sets it apart. And then obviously as it goes on, like they started like Digimon was very good at introducing much more like complex like themes in it. Like I think there was like divorce and death. Those are things that didn't happen.
Depression. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
in Pokemon, and then it started to incorporate these even more complex plots where it's like kind of the digital world and the real world overlap one another, and as a result,
Mm.
actions in one place affect the other place. It's like kind of as you're watching it over the years, you kind of like you're like, okay, this is a really rich, really complex lore. Where I think
Yeah.
that the Pokemon game series is getting really good at building this kind of expanded lore, but I think that the anime itself doesn't, because obviously the anime was made as like kind of Pokemon Light, I guess.
Yes, yeah. And a way of driving video game sales
Yeah, it was
more than anything.
the anime was there to further profit off the franchise, wasn't it? Really,
Hmm. More than anything, yeah.
gotta sell
Yeah,
those booster packs.
definitely. um, what else was I going to mention? I'm just going through my list over here. Um, I'm going to just talk about this one because I've already got a tab open for it, which was Tenchi Muyo.
I was gonna say
I
Tenchi was my next one.
I honestly I thought this came out a little later. I didn't realize it actually came out in the 90s. I thought it came out in the noughties.
No, it's old. It predates Digimon. It was
uh,
when was it? Was it 1994?
yes, I believe you're correct there. Yeah, probably the first sort of harem that I was exposed to.
Aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, high comedy. I couldn't tell you what the story is about really. I have besides like I think there was demons and space involved, and Tenchi had what looked like a lightsaber, and that was the only thing I was kind of there for.
So my
Um,
memory of it all is that it plays upon all of the most popular tropes of the time.
yeah,
So it had princesses,
yes,
it had a witch, it had spacefaring civilizations, it had
yeah,
magic, it had high technology, it had demons. It was like kind of someone cobbled together all of those tropes into a single really functional like story. And like you said, he also like tended like I still remember watching it on bloody Toonami,
hmm
seeing like that episode where Tenchi's getting his ass beat about, and then he like suddenly is able to manifest that lightsaber
yeah.
and like save the day. And it's like,
It's quite an extensive series as well, isn't it? Because I believe there's like quite a few OVAs or movies
mhm.
in the library, and I think it had like sequel series that went into more of the mech genre as well. So it's I guess like Tenchi Muyo has a little something for everyone.
Yeah, it's like, I think that whether it holds up to like the standards of anime fans today. Like,
Yeah.
if you, I would say that Tenchi is probably not a great entry point to anime for someone who's getting into anime these days, because obviously, societally we've changed. Like,
Yeah.
storytelling has gotten better, but I think at the time it was excellent. It was great. It is like more of the same. Like, it appealed to everything that I liked as a child.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's exactly it. Which, yeah, again, just kind of plays to any flavor you want, really, isn't it? It's
This
one
is
of
the
those.
nostalgia episodes.
What's next on your list?
Oh yeah, because like, I'm here talking about it, but it wasn't my choice, was it? Do you remember? This is
Take
such
me
a
back.
silly. This is such a
Yeah,
silly one. Shin-chan.
I don't.
Shin-chan is. I'd say that it's anime, but it's like kind of like it's anime framed in that kind of very comical cartoon way, like short,
Oh,
like 5 to 10 minute
yes.
episodes about Shin-chan, who's this mischievous boy. The art style is like, it's not. So I think you could look at the art style and think this is not good, but it's like kind of like it's intentional in its design, and it's just this story. It's just this story about this. Like, it's like a slice of life about this boy Shin-chan, his family, and what he gets up to. And he's a naughty boy, you know.
Yeah.
And it used to just show up on like they used, was it Fox TV or something like that, Fox Kids TV or something like that. It used to be on. But between episodes of things, sometimes like a short little Shin-chan episode would come on, and it'd be like 2 or 3 minutes long.
I
So,
think it's still ongoing to this day.
yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's like
Shin-chan is just,
one of the longest running animes because I think it like started in the 80s,
yeah.
and somehow it's still going, like you said.
Well,
Um,
it's a slice of life, isn't it? It can be,
mm,
it doesn't have an overarching plot that they need to stay consistent to. It's just the experience of this child, and like that relates
a
to every
naughty child.
generation. That relates to every generation, doesn't it? It doesn't need anything more than that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
Dennis the Menace, but in the UK. It's
Yeah,
that sort of like character, isn't it?
absolutely. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Um, Yeah, it's just a weird one. It does pretty well in terms of like little figures as well, from what I've seen. Like I've recognized it in shops and stuff as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just a classic bit of Japanese lore right there. Anime lore.
Anime lore. There we go. I'm gonna hit you right in the feels, I think, with this next one. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Trigun.
Hearing it in my head. I'm hearing the guitar. Trigun. What's
Um,
there to say about Trigun? Go on.
Trigun is probably an unsung hero in terms of 90s anime. In my mind, it's up there with Cowboy Bebop and Neon Genesis, just because again it has that beautiful sort of 90s animation and aesthetic to it. Um, it's another sort of mini series, self-contained, but it's just a great story more than anything. It has that Western vibes, so again, like
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop,
It is like,
of
it is a
course.
true space like cowboy like kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess what I really like about it more than anything is the idea of like an overpowered MC, but you don't know it until like towards the end of the series,
Yeah.
sort of
I
thing.
think that's the joy of Trigold, is that like it starts out, the main character is just framed as he's framed as the bad guy, because
Mm,
everywhere he goes to he brings destruction with him, and
yeah,
you as like this, in like the other two characters who join him on his journey or follow him on his journey are like from an insurance agency, and they're trying to stop him from causing more damage. But they go on to learn that he's just trying to live. He's just trying to like live his life. But everywhere he goes, like there are bad things happening, and he obviously wants to help like good people. But because he's there and he's notorious because of something that happened in his past, he gets blamed for everything that happens, even if it's not his responsibility. And then you go on to find out like there's so much more to Vash as a character, and you find out that he's just this like big kid who is like, he's just come from these really unfortunate circumstances, and you find out like you find out all this stuff about him. You find out about his brother. You find out about where he came from. You find out about why people are living on this planet. You find out that people aren't native to this planet. This happened as a result of something that happened in his past.
And
stuff. And it's like it's just such a grim world where like people are struggling to survive because there's like this planet is just complete desert.
And the power is diminishing over time, sort of thing.
It's a really good story. Honestly, no, I'm not. I'm gonna keep that one in the pocket because I think we might have an episode about that at some point. So
okay. Vash the Stampede, it starts off as a very sort of light-hearted comedy, and as Susude says, it as the layers get peeled, you kind of find more and more about it. Again, I'm going to compare it a lot to Cowboy Bebop because it's another sort of space cowboy opera. But the same way with Spike, like you only learn about Spike through specific episodes. The rest of the whole arc and story is about their journey and stuff together. So yeah, it's if you do enjoy Cowboy Bebop, it's definitely worth your time checking out Trigun because it is fantastic.
Do it. Do it. It's definitely worth it. Like animation wise, it's not going to hold up to the same sort of like quality as stuff that's coming up these days. But I think it's a really well designed world. Great story.
Dub's good as well. The dub's good. I know I say that a lot, but
as you know, I'm not a massive fan of dubbed anime. However, I think I watched Trigun completely dubbed.
Yeah.
Because it's all I had access to. And I didn't hate it. It was great. Great fun.
Yeah.
It's like dubbed in that. It's dubbed in that very anime wasn't like a mainstream voiceover career. So like people
absolutely
weren't as good at VO as they are these days.
Yeah. And I think at the time, the only way I managed to actually watch Trigun was on DVD. Like it was only once I got like the complete collection, I was able to watch it. So and of course again because it was a Western DVD, it was completely dub. But yeah. Anyways, I'm getting pretty close to the end of my list. How about you? You got much left?
So the thing is that like some of the things that were on my list are things that what you got on your list. So you've already I mean, I would be remiss like these. I guess these are honorable mentions. But
go for it.
You know, we've got like the 90s was a great time for Studio Ghibli.
Yep.
We got like bangers like Princess Mononoke.
Yes.
So that's an honorable mention. It's not series, but it is itself anime. I'm thinking of others. I imagine that some of the older among us might get annoyed if I was not to mention Akira.
Yeah. I would. It's definitely the movies were kind of hot at that time, like Akira, like you say, Princess Mononoke. I want to say Poco Rosso was around that time as well. Maybe
underrated, highly underrated is Poco Rosso.
I want to say also Guyver. Is it pronounced Guyver?
I think it is. I can't remember the spelling of it for sort of save my
It's like
life.
Guy Gniver, maybe?
It is Guyver. It is Guyver, exactly as you said it. Bio booster armor. I had completely forgotten about Guyver until you just mentioned him just now. You know?
Yeah, I remember seeing this as a kid, maybe way too young to see it, but that was incredible. Mainly because it was armor. Because again, it was kind of, to me, the closest thing I saw at that time was Iron Man. So seeing like armor in anime was amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's a nice take on the mech suit kind of idea as well, because it's not an actual mech suit. It's a living thing.
Yeah.
So,
and the designs are really cool as well. I thought they were really cool as a kid.
Absolutely, it's all very insectoid, wasn't it? So we just had Beetleborgs and stuff like that in our country.
We did, yes. Was that Japanese or was that
I think
a
it was
Western copy of?
I'm gonna Google it because it's been so long since I even uttered the word Beetleborgs.
As you mentioned that, I'm going to give some honourable mentions as well. So honourable mention, of course, the Sailor Moon. What's there to say about Sailor Moon that hasn't already been said? It's fantastic on so many levels. Revolutionary Utena, or Uether. No, I don't know if I said that right. Another sort of shoujo anime series. Again, it's probably one of the sort of forefathers of the shoujo genre.
I just am kicking myself because did we not mention Sailor Moon?
We did not mention Sailor Moon.
Retconning that in, that was my second thing I talked about. Sailor Moon, guys, it's great nice anime. Like peak magic, original. Is it original Magic Girl?
Possibly. Yeah. It's
girls doing it for themselves, absolutely kicking ass. Not needing male protagonists to kind of carry them through.
No.
But can we forget Tuxedo Mask?
Tuxedo Mask, wow.
He was a side character. So
he was a side character, yeah. Was he a love interest?
He was the love interest of Sailor Moon.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I think it was that same. I think it's been so long, because I haven't watched any of the newer Sailor Moons, the revamps. But I'm pretty sure that it was that love, that great trope of they are Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, and they have feelings for each other, but it's their actual real life identities also have feelings for each other, but they don't know that they're that lovely trope.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Also, One Piece came out in the 90s. I think we may have mentioned that.
Tail end. Very tail end. It was 1999.
There you go.
And look at it, still ongoing here in 2022.
Who knew? The last one I wanted to mention was Metabots. That kind of caught on again, sort of at the tail end, 1990, or 1999, I should say. But Metabots was absolutely fantastic. 52 episodes. I don't know what more I can say about it. Just a fantastic series.
Give us Metabee in a row battle any day.
Yeah. I know we said, Digimon came after Pokemon and stuff, but in my eyes, this was probably the best of both worlds.
It's like they took Gundam and put it into. They crammed 3 series, like Pokemon, Digimon, and Gundam into a single show, and we got Metabots.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Again, the dub was absolutely captivating and hilarious, even though they did change a lot of the actual script, because again I think it was for kids, and they were changing certain words and foods and stuff to kind of meet Western children. But
yes, donuts.
yeah, that old chestnut. But absolutely gorgeous animation, some great action in this, and what's there not to love? You know, a kid with a toy robot that battles other toy robots. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
I was gonna say it's just outside of it, but talking about Medabots made me think of Beyblade.
Yes,
But
yeah.
Beyblade is very early very early noughties.
Sadly, yeah.
Even though the actual like story itself started in the 90s, like the manga started in the 90s, like anime didn't come out until 2001. Gosh.
Yeah. It's probably not the right place to say this, but have you seen that TikTok I sent where that guy said Dragoon was doing Wakanda Forever before we all thought it was a thing?
I did. Dragoon.
Dragoon was a beast. A
Dragoon
bit
was a
beast,
bit- Some might say he was a
say.
bit. But Dranza, the pivotal name that went on to become your email identity for the whole of the noughties.
Don't want my email to get hacked, thanks.
Do you even still use that email address?
Yes, I do.
Well, no longer, because it belongs to the fans now.
Talking of the fans, hey, if we've missed out any 90s cartoons, let us know in the comments down below. If you want us to cover more of these 90s cartoons, you can also get in touch with us. Of course, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, which will be linked at the bottom of below at Undisputed Anime. But you can also email us, undisputedanime@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll happily read out any of your letters, comments, and things like that on the show. It's probably also worth sharing on. I'm just going to pop this on screen because we're live on YouTube. So we'll be at the Cardiff Anime and Gaming Con on Sunday, the 28th of April. So if you're at the event, make sure to come up and say hello to us.
You mean 24th of April?
What did I say?
28th.
I meant the 24th. I'm going to do another hot take right here for clips. So Undisputed Anime will be at the Cardiff Anime and Gaming Con on Sunday, the 24th of April, 2022. So make sure to visit us, and we'll just be on the floor. We won't be doing any sort of speeches or on stage or anything along those lines. We'll just be on the floor, looking at merch, probably record some stuff. But yeah, come up and say hi, as we'd love to meet you all. Excited. It's your first anime con as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, life just gets in the way. But life has found a way this time, so
exactly that. So yeah, excited. So yeah, make sure to come to the event if you haven't already, and yeah, come say hi. But bar all of that, Mr. Susude, it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks for joining me to regale in some of the older animes.
Absolutely. My honorable mention right now is I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Digimon the movie is the greatest anime movie of all time.
Wow, what a hot take. What a hot take.
Are you going to tell me that I'm wrong?
I mean, it's a fantastic movie. It's definitely a fantastic. Maybe
you don't want to get controversial on the show.
I know that's going to be a clip for TikTok.
I'll say it again. Digimon the movie is the greatest anime movie of all time.
Wow. Hey, let us know what you think is the greatest anime movie of all time. Is Mr. Susude right? Let us know in the comments, email us, all that jazz. As I say, all the relevant links in the description below. If you're into comic books and comic book movies, I got to plug this because I do it on the other show. Check out Undisputed Nerds, where we talk about comic book movies and nonsense and Nicolas Cage. We talk a lot about Nicolas Cage.
Did you get told off by your other co-hosts because you weren't plugging that show on this show?
Maybe. So yeah, make sure to check out Undisputed Nerds every week, and yeah, I'll leave a link in the description for that just in case.
Wow,
beautiful. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. We'll hope to see you at the convention, and it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Go and eat some eggs, kids. Like chocolate ones, not raw eggs.
No. That's not good for you.